So hello, I'm Sam. I'm your fourth person on YouTube Fanatics. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, and that's about it. So without further ado, here's my video. So as you can read from the title down below, this video is about the Colin Baker era of Doctor Who. So this is how the BBC describe the Colin Baker era. Got it all written down. Colin Baker, 1984 to 1986. Brash, cat badge, video nasty, cancelled, hiatus, Doctor in distress. Valiard, carrot juice, carrot juice, carrot juice. Carrot bloody juice. Alright, agreed. He was brash and certainly colourful in more ways than one. And so what if he got off to a shaky start? He's still my favourite Doctor. In this video I'll just be skimming over the actual stories and reviewing his era / his Doctor as a whole. So to clarify, this video is not about the stories individually. Now Colin Baker is highly criticised for his portrayal of the Doctor by... honestly, I don't know why. He's everything the Doctor should be. Bold, brave, charming, certainly dark when need be. Now, I've actually kind of written a script here, so you're going to have to bear with me. I'm going to be switching from script to camera. Now, admittedly, the twin dilemma is not the best start to a tenure of an actor to play the famous Time Lord. But ignore it. I do. Honestly, I watched part 1 where he chooses out his costume up until the part where he strangles Perry, which, by the way, is absolutely ridiculous. I then watch the end of part 4, where his old mentor from Gallifrey dies. We really see the Doctor, Colin Baker, show real compassion. On the other hand, we then have the following story, Attack of the Cybermen, and what a story that is. Alright, maybe it's crap in parts, but in the long run it's fantastic. The main thing for me that lets Attack of the Cybermen down is the Cryons. The annoying race with the very annoying voice that you just want to punch in the throat. Actually, they're all women, so scrap that. Then, Vengeance on Varos, which in my opinion is the best Sixth Doctor story and my personal favourite. It's a blinding episode. The plot, a society dependent on television. The television being torture, acid baths and blokes in nappies. Seriously. We also see the first appearance of Syl, who, in my opinion, is more amusing than he is scary. Next, Mark of the Rani. Not a brilliant episode by all means, but we see two renegade Time Lords causing havoc upon 19th century Earth. And yeah, you heard me, 2. We see the introduction of the Rani, not to be confused with Rani from the Sarah Jane Adventures. A chemical genius who turned to the dark side. And to me, she just seems a female rip-off of the Master, which in my opinion doesn't really work. So overall, Mark of the Rani, not a very convincing episode. Now with the two Doctors, you'd expect it to be a great spectacle, as was the episodes before it, as in the 3 Doctors and the 5 Doctors. Unfortunately, the story doesn't live up to the hype, but I like it. Both Doctors give an extremely good performance, as ever, and Colin Baker and Patrick Troughton work fantastically well together. But the main thing that lets this story down for me is not the plot, it's not the storyline, it's the Sontarans. They're tall. They're meant to be short and menacing, unlike Strax. Them being tall doesn't work, they just look goofy.
Gosh.
And I mean, if I'm right, aren't Sontarans meant to be exactly 5 foot? At least, they are in the new series. Now this is where I've run out of script and notes, so time for my brain to kick in. So next is Time Lash. Time Lash has a lot of criticism, and understandably, because the production value isn't that good. The Borad looks absolutely dreadful. It's like a horse has had a stroke. Honestly, it does. I can't say anything else. He's a menacing villain, don't get me wrong, but it's just, he looks ridiculous. We then have his guards, them big blue things with the yellow hair. Just doesn't work. They look like Smurfs. I'm sorry. But, admittedly, if you can ignore the production value and shitty special effects and things, Timelash isn't actually that bad, because we see the Doctor find H.G. Wells, and actually it's quite good. The relationship between the Doctor and H.G. Wells is kind of how you would expect it. The only thing I hate about Timelash is the end, which is...
I think he'll return to Earth, don't you? After all, he does have an interesting story to tell. Herbert? Herbert!
Herbert. Not this Herbert, but Herbert, as in Herbert something Wells. I think it might be George, but, you know. Last in his first whole season is Revelation of the Daleks. Usually with the Dalek story you'd think, ooh, this has the potential to be good, and again, it's not half bad. Davros doesn't do much until part 2. He's in this glass head, and he's the great healer, so that's not actually Davros until that guy with the weird leg and the walking stick goes to kill Davros, and turns out it's not Davros, that is the great healer. Davros turns on and gets his finger out. That sounded wrong, and electrocutes him. So we see then that this is actually Davros. The plot being that the Doctor and Perry arrive to go and visit some professor, can't remember his name, and they go into this graveyard of statues and tombs, and the Doctor sees his own statue, the Garden of Fond Memories, that's what it's called. The cliffhanger being it falls on him, which is okay. Mr. Copper's also in it. So, Revelation, I don't know. I'm personally not a big fan, but it isn't the worst Colin Baker story. For me, the worst Colin Baker story is Mark of the Rani or Twin Dilemma. Then there's this whole big shit about Doctor Who being cancelled. I'm not going to go into that in this video. I may do a future video about that. I'm just going to skim over that and skip straight to Trial of a Time Lord. If not, aside from Vengeance on Varos, my favourite Colin Baker episodes, because there's a few good ones in there. Trial of a Time Lord, originally there was, I think it's season 26, that was meant to be a 14 part, the same as Trial of a Time Lord, but it was meant to be individual stories. I know there was an Auton story, an Ice Warrior story, what else? The Celestial Toymaker was meant to come back, which would have been a fantastic series. No word of a lie, if you've never seen the Lost Season documentaries, go and watch it. If I find it, I'll put the link in the description. But you see actually the potential that that series had. However, when that got cancelled, they issued Trial of a Time Lord, a 14-part story, which was split into 4 episodes, 3 of them being 4-parters, one of the last part being a 2-parter. So there is The Mysterious Planet, the second one, which I've forgotten, which I shouldn't have, third one, Terror of the Vervoids, and the last one, The Ultimate Foe. My favourite one, probably The Mysterious Planet, the first one. However, I do like The Ultimate Foe, but it's too short, unfortunately. We learn about the Valiard in this serial, who is an incarnation of the Doctor set in between his 12th and 13th lives, who is all the bad things about the Doctor. So basically his darker side, all melded into one incarnation. Which makes sense. Classic Doctor Who, you can kind of allow that. But then you get John Hurt and Moffat, no. No. To be fair, from skimming over all of those episodes, I haven't done Colin Baker a lot of justice. If you listen to some of his Big Finish audios, you'll definitely change your conception about Colin Baker. I mean, he gets a lot of hate. A lot of people say, oh, you know, he's crap, he got cancelled, he got the show cancelled. No, he didn't. To be fair, he did the best job he could, and in my opinion, he'd done fantastic. So, should Colin Baker get the hate he deserves? No, in my view, no. If you agree, leave a comment. If you disagree, leave a comment. I'm happy to see what all of you think. Just nothing too bad, because Colin's my favourite Doctor, and if you say anything bad, I will kill you. I hope you enjoyed that first video of mine, but as a first video I was kind of stumped for ideas, so I thought, what better than to start with my favourite Doctor and just quickly sum up the Colin Baker era, which, to be fair, I haven't done that well. It could have been done far better. My next video will be either a quick review of Series 7, because I hate it, or why I think Matt Smith is an incredibly overrated Doctor and I don't understand all the press he gets. I don't understand why he's so loved. So either one of those two will be my next videos, so look out for that. I will see you in my next video in a few weeks' time. Farewell.